I like it.
We're live.
Bang bang. I'm
We're
ready.
live. We're live. We're live. Welcome to
I,
Echo Chamber, the session in between sessions. Here with Warwick Griswold, Caldrum, and myself, Amrook. Hopefully, DM joining soon, and then possibly Reed. I don't know. I didn't get a response from him. But anyway, let's just jump into it. Evan was already, or Griswold there was already throwing out stuff. So I'm going to let him start us off with his reiteration of him being Caldrum's biggest cheerleader.
so I'm going to set the scene for you.
I think you first have to start with the song.
All right. So Keldrum's song, "Walking Out on the Battlefield," is now. MC Hammer can't touch this.
I like
Let
it.
me explain. Let me set the scene for you. We've been up against Nasana before, and we got annihilated for many reasons. We decide last minute that we are going to walk out and fight her.
I regret my choice of letting him start this off. I'm just going to make it clear on the stream right now, but go ahead, Evan.
We did a lot of things. Keldrum walks out, not only blesses everyone, which has saved everyone's tail already. He walks out, I can't remember Keldrum, whatever spell it was. He keeps throwing that up to where people. Huh?
Turn Undead, which I
No,
totally thought was
hold
something
on.
completely different.
Nope,
No,
not that one.
Sanctuary.
Oh, Sanctuary. All right.
Pulls out Sanctuary, so people can't hit them if they don't do a Wisdom save, and his spell DC is ridiculous anyways.
My DC's ridiculous.
19 for anyone watching. 19, so dumb. Which deflects, I don't know, at least like 5 or 6 hits. And then, on top of that, walks up and says, "Mr. Boneclaw, Mr. Undead Frost Giant, I don't like you," and does turn undead, and they just have to run away for 10 rounds. So basically, Keldrum says, "I've got a big dick. What's up?"
I agree with Evan, and I'm going to give Caldrum. I was going to wait till the end, but I'm going to give Caldrum play of the game with Sanctuary. Hear me out, because Bless was great, but those assassins, I remember the first encounter with them. Like, one assassin attack would have dropped Caldrum pretty low, and we would have been in trouble. So I'm calling play of the game there. What would you have there, Key?
The only thing I have to say is I thought Turn Undead was something totally different. I thought Caldrum was going to turn undead and had a whole new set of skills. I've never heard of that spell before. I thought this was going to go a completely different route.
I thought Turn Undead was awesome there. Awesome use. You have more than one use, right? Because it's based on your level.
One more.
Yeah,
one more use.
Nice. I like it.
Are Bodaks undead?
Yes.
Yeah, they are. It was a game changer, because think of this. The Bodak, or the Frost Giant, has a boatload of hit points and he hits hard. The Boneclaw, same way. You just took out Nasana's. I mean, Amrook already basically slaughtered a Frost Giant. Griswold just went over and pushed him over. And Keldrum's like, no, hold on. This is how you do this. One spell and says, "You guys are gone." That's it.
I mean, Amrook's a little salty he didn't get to lay into that Frost Giant, but well, there might be another opportunity later on.
They'll come back. But here's the thing: there's no save. There's no way to say that. There's no way to dispel that. I don't think the turn undead.
What's that?
Turn undead. There's no way to dispel it.
Do damage to them. Do damage.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean damage, but there's no other way now.
So in theory, this brings up a good question. What's that?
The spell doesn't say if they do damage, the charm effect is gotten rid of. I believe you can dispel magic on that, but Nasana would have had to see it because isn't it a spell or a magical effect?
No, it's an
ability.
Yeah. Ability.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that, but it definitely doesn't say anything about doing damage to them, and the effect goes away.
I vaguely remember it from playing Barry, but we could be wrong. But let's take a step back. I have a question. Let's assume that damage does bring them out of this turn phase. Could Nasana damage them to then get them out of it?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't want to metagame. Never mind.
I mean, this is the spot to metagame. If you're going to metagame, we already know Evan did so.
Not with these two here.
Oh, okay.
Come on.
Bam! Laid it on him.
Why would
Come on, Eric.
I started.
Come on, Eric. What is it? Come on, tell me.
I will
Just-
throw it out there. Keegan has been like 100% better at not
Oh, yeah.
betting. Like in comparison, like I remember, and I'm gonna call it out because it's the Nasana fight in the labyrinth there, and I that was probably the biggest meta I've ever seen out of a party member. I think it was Althea was like, I'll lead, and then she rolled low, and then Keegan's like, well, fuck that, and, like
Hold on. What?
jumped in there.
I don't even remember what I did. What?
Oh, I remember it. You just jumped in there to lead because you knew she rolled low, and you know you can't help it sometimes. But that was probably the biggest meta. But then you take that that capture of that moment in comparison to like the past 3 sessions or so, 100%, 180.
No,
I agree.
I don't meta. I have too much stuff going on with like this character and like the other 2 or 3 that I have. No. I mean,
I do have to say I am a little worried about Althea.
I agree.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here because I did a little bit with Ryan and Eric, but I don't think these two were there. So basically, Althea hides every fight that we're in. Would we know that she even went down at this point? Because we would just assume she's hiding.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Because I thought about that too, because I can heal her, Keldrum can. I wouldn't have seen that she went down, so I have no reason to go where she. I have no reason to. Otherwise, I would. But I wouldn't know that. Because I thought if we did a count off, like I thought about this in my head, like, okay, because people hide, because we have rogues and everything, should we do a count off, like if anyone, like in a weird way, like everyone has a number, and then if you hear someone yell one, you know, we basically like, you know, say your number, and if
Count
we
off from
don't,
back of the boat.
yeah, and if you don't hear someone, do you assume that they're in trouble? But we obviously can't do that now, but we would have no way of knowing she's gone.
I question if we can see that far, right? Because I know we can see. Well, we know the Bodaks are there, right? But that's only because Reed.
We know one. We know Bodak North. We know that.
No,
we don't know of anything down south.
We as people, not our characters. We as people know.
Yeah.
But as characters, I that's a question I wanted to ask about the Bodak to the south. Is how big is that brush tree line? If it's big, if it's not big, not only would we have seen the Bodak, we would also see Nisana because we know as people she's there. But if the tree line is big, we wouldn't see either.
Well,
right?
Garrett's here, so that's a great question for G Money.
Well, we'll get to that when he gets logged on.
All right, so the tree line is, when you say big, I'm assuming you mean dense and tall?
Thick and girthy.
It's girthy.
Steve.
Yeah, so think about this field. I should have given you a better visual as you were approaching, because you guys, other than some noise, whenever you did the stealth check, were actually encompassed. So the tree line is about 30-foot tall trees, give or take 20, with some really heavy undergrowth and brush. So it's pretty thick and dense on the outside perimeter. That's why everyone was kind of able to take visual limitations. Reeds actually couldn't be seen up to the north. He could be heard but not seen. Althea down below, and until you guys stepped out of that line, it's light. Now the trees actually in that field are more bushes, more small shrubs, nothing more than a couple feet, 3 or 4 feet tall. So it's pretty open there. But think about it as a fairly dense forest surrounding it.
We wouldn't have been able to see Nisana. I mean, we might hear movement, but we wouldn't be able to see that she's down there, nor the Bodak, nor Althea dying.
Yeah, and we did stealth checks for each of them for the kind of behind the DM screen, and it didn't quite. They were above your passive perception. I think the Bodaks had a +6 to their stealth, if I recall.
In the darkness.
And that's not good.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
So we have no reason to go down there at the moment, which is really bad for her.
All right, so you had mentioned noise comes into this, right? So her falling, Reed digging into a tunnel that doesn't create some noise at least?
It does. So I did have Reed roll for stealth on that, only because the Bodak kind of knew what direction he was going, didn't see, but then he dropped on the ground. I was giving him more of the ability to cover his tracks on that rather than where he went, because they last where he was, and now he's under. So I would say they don't hear the digging, but yeah, that was kind of my approach to it at the time. I didn't think it through much further. Plus, there's a lot of new noise in the battlefield the initial after the initial approach.
Yeah, I'm sticking with my original. We don't know she's down, and we heard a noise, but we just assumed she was attacking or moving. Like we wouldn't know unless she specified that she screamed out. But I don't know. I don't remember that.
And she really didn't. She didn't say she would. She didn't say anything. So yeah, you wouldn't see Althea down at this point.
Right, because when
She's
Reed encountered the Bodak, he screamed Bodak North, but I don't think she screamed anything. So yeah, sorry, Althea.
what I'm really concerned about is that
No.
so she's incapacitated right now. She still has a couple of saves, so who knows what happens. And then Warwick gave her advantage. I'll give you kudos on that one. That was pretty good with Silvery Barbs. Why is Nasana? Because Gary, or you mentioned that we as players know, but Nasana is right by Althea's body. We don't. Our players don't know that, but our characters don't. But we know.
Would
Yeah.
some players who, let's say, have Dimension Door be able to kind of recognize that sound of the portal opening over there?
Oh, I'd give them an check to do so.
I'll roll it right now.
I'll also say, let me give a little bit of backstory. You didn't actually show up to where it was. So I teased a little bit about what you would have encountered afterwards. Nasana did not actually go straight to Althea's body. She didn't know she was there. Again, behind the DM here a little bit, she was basically looping behind you guys for flanking purposes, knowing she had two Bodaks over there as well, and knowing you guys have all come out for the most part. So that was a pure flanking maneuver. She actually appeared about 15 feet from Althea, which wouldn't have her standing over the body, but if Reed had popped up, it would have been close enough that she came out of that dimension door, moved 5 feet towards it, and then had the weapon out prepared. So it was a little bit narrative creativity in saying he would have seen her directly over the body preparing to kill. But
One more thing that I really was looking for, and maybe it's still to come. I don't want to spoil anything. I was hoping for a banishment on Nasana.
It's in the queue.
It's in the
That's all I
queue.
got.
That's what I like to hear. Like I was waiting for that banishment to pop out, and then watch Garrett's face of like, okay, didn't see that coming. Yeah, fuck you guys. You're getting attacked.
Yep.
Kind of like
Yep.
you did with Hans. You were just like,
that was
nah, I'm tired of
amazing.
listening to you.
Oh,
hey, I love it. I'm excited the way the back half of this battle is going to play out. Also, very different approach than the first time you guys ran across. A few extra levels and a little more coordination, and not being on our home turf made a big difference.
But we also had actually less coordination pre-fight this time, which is kind of ass backwards.
weird.
Like last time, we saw the chains, we saw some different spots, and we talked about it, and a little bit of coordination there. This time, it was kind of like, all right, we're here, spread out, do this. That was it. Like it wasn't this whole half-hour session of paralysis by analysis. It was all right, go in.
Yeah.
What happens when somebody just says, "Let's do this," and we go with it, right? Boom.
Garrett, I want you to know I gave Keldrum all the props for basically the bless, for the sanctuary, and then turn undead. All three of those, like in my mind, I don't care what happens. Keldrum's like player of the game on this one because, whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, and I have a song for Keldrum. MC Hammer, can't touch this. That is certainly the episode for this song. So I expected to turn undead. I thought that was a brilliant move. I actually had initially planned for catching both of the giants kind of in my pre-session. I thought one would save, but the sanctuary I did not predict and did not expect it to be nearly as effective. That is brutal because the number of attacks that saved and prevented, I think it was definitely enough damage to take
Caldrum down or make some healing in there,
Oh,
which would have eliminated a
yeah,
turn. And yeah, I think combined there would have
Um,
been about 120 points of damage across I think 3 turns is what it saved.
yeah, 3.
So yeah, that was a difference maker.
And one of them was a boulder, so I know that would have hurt.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
and the other
feel
was
like the
a
assassin would have hurt just as much as a boulder.
And
It-
I was just gonna say, and the other one was the assassin with sneak attack. So
Well,
Yeah, those two
I mean,
both would have been absolutely brutal. And I think they both would have hit too from my roll. Because I still put the roll out there before the wisdom save.
if I remember, the first fight, Amrook went up, did the whole bloodlust thing, and then I think you got crit, and it was what, 4+ points of damage in the first fight?
Something like that, because the crit actually triggered the bloodlust. It wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Yep, and Reed got frozen last time, so Reed wasn't able.
Yeah.
He was out of the battle. And in this case, technically Reed's out of the battle for a few turns based on his burrowing. Althea's out of the battle, so you're already down 2. If I had been able to take out Caldrum and refocus that way, that could have turned these tides real quick.
Yeah.
So, question about the map. I know the let's see, the wind is blowing at like 11 miles an hour, and fog cloud technically dissipates at 10 miles an hour plus. However, if I were to put fog cloud in the actual tree line, where the wind is not going to be 11 miles an hour, how does that work? How does that work?
I'll tell you what, since it's so close, I'd have given you that argument.
I agree. I mean, just from camping and other things, like
Yeah.
you want that cover, and yeah, it makes that big of a difference. I'd give it to you, Keeg.
Yeah,
I agree. That's a great justification. You can convince me. And again, all these things are, the rules are the rules, unless you can tell me otherwise, sort of thing. And it's all up for interpretation. And if it was 20-mile-an-hour winds, I would probably say, you're still seeing 10-mile-an-hour in the trees. Of course, if you then came back and told me, well, you just told me it was pretty heavy brush, I'd be like, well, you're right. We'll say it's only about 7 miles an hour in the woods. So, but considering it's only 11, it's definitely going to be under that in the wood line.
okay. I'm just curious. The only thing I really know of right now is there's a couple of people outside the tree line. There's a Bodak in the north. I don't know of anything going on with Reed. So until I hear otherwise, there's not really much I can do. But that would be an optimal spot right there where Althea and Reed and those guys are to cast Fog Cloud.
Yeah, then the Bodaks wouldn't have sight. Yeah, there's a lot of things there. I like it.
Yeah.
And the Bodaks go off of eyesight, correct? That's their. Oh, so something like blindness, deafness may fuck them up too. Oh, that's.
Well, I mean,
Well, I have that in a hopper too.
thanks to Keldrum.
We're on the same page.
Thanks to Keldrum, because now we know, because he said, avert your eyes. Otherwise, we would not have any idea what to do with the Bodaks, because we didn't really come into play with them too much in the early Nasana fight. So, I mean, we all know that they can screw you up if they look at you, but without Keldrum saying that, we would be walking into it without knowing.
It's somebody who's in the office today. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it.
Not stopping me from Echo Chamber.
Hell yes. Love it.
So also, I'm gonna throw one other thing while we're talking about the map real quick. That I just a little footnote for everybody's information. The map was not perfect, but that is an AI generated image. I used Stable Diffusion to just throw out something open field or rough field within a heavy wooded area, and that was battle map style, and that was generated. So pretty cool. I've been trying to do that for a few more. Some are great, some are not. I had to go through like 30 revisions to get that one, but thought it was kind of unique.
That's really good. I
like,
really like that one.
I do have to say, I cannot wait until we get into a dungeon setting or something like that, because these long distances are killing me though.
Oh my goodness, you're right. I agree.
Yeah.
Like everything I have is like 60 feet or less.
Yep.
Damn.
That's exactly what I meant.
Ruin me up.
Overdue for a good dungeon crawl, and you guys haven't taken my indoor bait in a while. So
What, for Candlekeep?
for a number of different things, the paths that you don't even know where they led, but that's all right. We're due for some inside ones, and you guys had every opportunity. I was waiting for you to set the location for this one to see what you would set up. So finally, I decided to wing it, and just on one of our breaks is whenever I did the AI generated image real quick just to get something in the open field.
Nice.
I was waiting. I was waiting.
I feel like we do have enough spells and different methods to cover that distance to give other people like Warwick and stuff time to catch up. You know what I mean? Like a nicely placed firewall so that they can't see through it to throw anything, stuff like that, gives you that time so that you can get within that 60-foot range.
Yeah.
Friendly dimension door might take 2 people closer. I don't know.
Yeah. So I am the opposite. I don't mind that open field, that open plain.
Oh, I don't mind it. It's just I'm like looking at myself like, oh man, I need to be 60 feet away or something. I'm like, fuck.
It adds so much strategy to the game, right?
Yeah, it does.
That's really what it does, which I like.
Yeah.
I got one question, not about the battle or the field. Just to step away for a quick second, and then we can go right back. But I don't want to forget. Whenever we were walking back from the cabin, we were going to Silvery Moon, walking back from the cabin, and I felt my soul get taken away. And I luckily I saved. What would have happened if I would have failed? If Warwick would have failed, would he have died?
No.
Damn it! Look,
Damn it.
all right, I am. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
A spell was cast on you in an attempt to transport you elsewhere. Would have died. It was a relocation.
Is it like a different plane, like an ethereal plane or something, or like straight up relocation?
I won't give you anything beyond that of the who or the where.
Okay.
The people we are messing with are fucking powerful.
So I've been thinking a lot about how Warwick wants to play this moving forward, because I have created a second character just in case Warwick dies. But I thought about how, after this battle, assuming we win, how do I approach this? Because obviously I could get fucking teleported anywhere, except probably Silvery Moon, because it's magically protected, right? So, like, if I step outside of Silvery Moon,
I would assume Candlekeep is that way as well.
I would assume Candlekeep, and it would be cool to go to Candlekeep. I wouldn't mind heading down there with the monks for a little bit and chilling, but and we don't have to go down this path. But I have considered Warwick either staying in Silvery Moon after this battle, or Warwick getting down to Candlekeep. Candlekeep is actually an interesting thought. I actually like that more than Silvery Moon, but staying in one of those magically protected areas and introducing my second character, because D. Shaggins is going to be more of an NPC at this point, just gathering information. That's where that's going.
Excuse me.
I'm gonna step back on my previous statement and add a little bit more. So I will tell you the what and the where, just because I think it applies here, and you should have a better idea. You didn't take the opportunity to look around, and that the group wasn't necessarily, you didn't say you were moving stealthily or anything else. Nasana did track down your location. She had eyes on you at that point and let you guys walk past. She was the one trying to pull you away from the group separately, and she was within sight of the group at that point in which the battle could have initiated at that moment.
Oh.
So I'll leave that.
Yeah.
That is sketchy AF. Just, I mean, kudos. That is awesome. Now, all right, let me ask, since that already passed, did she have her bodyguard there with her ready to roll? Or if we would have found her, is there a chance we could have just, since it already passed, we can't change that now?
She was in a greatly diminished state. She only had one person with her at that moment.
Shit, we could have freaking killed her.
And hence the separation of Warwick from the group as opposed to approaching the group. So was trying to level the odds a little bit, and he wanted a request, so he thought he could catch him off guard and put it on her terms. Unsurprised, unplanned. so that this exact thing didn't happen. Warwick requested a meeting, so she was going to give Warwick and only Warwick a meeting.
I like it.
And I wanted to see how he would handle it then and talk his way out, knowing that he was setting up a battle. Let him talk his way out of that one.
Oh, I had that 100% planned. If that was going to happen, I had it planned to a T how I was going to explain it to her. To a T.
Or I was also going to say, I don't know what other tools you guys might have up your belt, or trickery. So who knows what would then happen from there, and how everything went. So there were other possible outcomes, but I was trying to plan it from her standpoint. Once the eye actually worked and she was able to scry on you, able to use that to and some other things to back out the location, get into town, get to the location, keep an eye on the group.
Interesting. So let's take a step back, and you mentioned the cabin. That whole scenario of the questioning and the fur. What's going through Grizz's mind? I want to hear his first. And Reed just walks up and shaves off some of Frank's hair. Because I'm like, what the fuck? Why would you do it in the open?
I honestly, this was slightly Evan here kicking it back. And I will admit that it was slightly Evan, because Garrett, I almost messaged you and said, based on Reed's response, it's instant hold person, and I'm basically incapacitating him, because when you hold person, you're stunned and it's auto crit, and I was basically just gonna start beating his ass.
Cool, some repressed anger there showing up for shaving your tiger.
It was, because here's the thing, and so with the whole vengeance paladin, because Nasana's been an evil at that point, the connection was Warwick brought up the celestial item. Warwick's
and called bullshit on him. Yeah.
That was interesting, and the way I took it at first is Warwick calling him out, like, not joking, and Reed, who hasn't said anything, literally went up and shaved him. So the connection is Reed working with Nasana, not I know Reed's messed around with Griswold, but there's never been a connection to we'll say a prime evil or an evil that we've been facing, and it was okay, what's going on?
Yeah, that's interesting, because I took it as Reed was working with Warwick because Warwick had already said about the item.
Yeah,
I didn't take it as
Nasana.
he was trying to get the item for Nasana. I just assumed, he's trying to get this for Warwick.
Well,
I can't wait until this campaign is over and we can see all the going back and forth between GM and Reed. What's going on behind the scene?
If you go back and watch the streams, you can see the text chat response from DM to Reed, but you can't see Reed's to the DM.
Well, and plus, I mean, even off-screen stuff. I'm so curious.
I've told it a few times, but and Eric, I'm sure you've been in this position as a longtime DM, but this being my first campaign, I don't know how you do it. I am bursting at the seams to want to reveal all the behind the scenes stuff of what was going on, all the what happened, what was this, what if we had, here's what was going on this way, here's the backstory and the ongoings that way. I'm just holding everything back on a daily basis.
I really can't wait to see what happens to Reed at the end of this. Does he become the ultimate hero, or is he the mole?
Yeah.
You know, I love it.
I love his.
We all hope, I think, or at least I do, for that character arc of Reed's for himself, and then Reed comes to a conclusion and is actually, man of the people, and for, will lay his life down. But I never know with Ryan. I'm gonna be honest, and that's Ryan. I feel more so than Reed. I never know with Ryan.
I just want to say that from the outside looking in, the move that he pulled with shaving the tiger and the vague connections was so freaking brilliant in its vaguity, because you could interpret it so many different ways. And other than Reed and myself not knowing how to fully interpret exactly what happened there, I thought it was just beautiful in the way it was handled. Simple but confusing as AF.
It was awesome. I mean, that was such a well played maneuver. If he would have been able to pull it off with no one seeing, that would have been really interesting. I have to say, I almost, when there was some chitter chatter back and forth with Warwick and Reed, I was queuing up a second level hold person and being like, all right, we're gonna figure this out. I don't care if I have to tie both of you up. But then it was played off. You guys talked it off rather well, and my what was it? My wisdom save was crap. So Griswold ended up believing you. Evan didn't. Griswold did though.
There's a lot going on.
Oh, I know.
There's a
I'm
lot.
also going to throw out, I'm going to just drop this in there without letting anything know. But I'll let the intrigue stew. The scent of Frank, whenever he returned, was magically created.
So who made Frank stink?
Someone used thaumaturgy and thaumaturgy and
We're going to leave it at that.
That's fantastic. That makes me happy. That makes me very I'm pumped about that one. Yeah.
I was meant to go wash. Yeah, I was going to go wash Frank off in the river, and you're like, nope, it's all good now. It's fine.
I was trying to insinuate like he's gone. He frowned. It smells perfectly now. Nothing's there. But
It was good. It was good.
I was kind of wondering if, that whole description of the something hunting Frank, and then all of a sudden, he saw the light and came and found us again. If Griswold had tried to use his powers and found out that he no longer had a connection to Gabriel at that point, because Gabriel had fought this hunter at that point, and I think that might have changed where we went or what we did after that, but I think that I was waiting for that to happen.
Yeah, that's
I will tell you, I've tried to do a few things or talk to Gabriel a few times after this.
He talked
And-
to is different from because you get your power from that divine connection.
Yeah. There hasn't been a response for one reason or another. I don't know. I could tell you Griswold is going to do something after this fight, pending we all make it out alive. Because Griswold is slightly concerned that this took more power than anticipated from Gabriel. Something has happened. I don't know what. My divine power is still there, as far as I know. But I don't know. Something just seems off. Or maybe it's just Garrett being like, I just want to mess with Evan at this point, but I don't know.
Maybe it's a little both. You don't know.
Yeah. What about Warwick being very religious now? You had me roll a religion check, and nothing's
Love it.
happened so far.
Love it.
So I'm
Oh,
just
no, good.
yeah.
remember, there was about a session and a half between your prayer last time and the stumbling upon of a needed item or person. You just happen to run across this priest who was directed your way, and so the effects and implications are TBD.
Hey, it's just that saying. There's no atheist in foxholes, right? You're praying to somebody because you need it.
Yeah, Warwick's actually trying to turn a cheek like half and half, right? Like he's not going to be like a fully religious celibate guy. Not going to happen. But if he can talk to somebody, that's cool. We'll see what happens. Maybe a little bit of help. I do something for them, they do something for me. Something like that. We'll see. But depending on how this goes, Warwick may make some decisions. Actually, I have one other thing that needs to happen before Warwick makes his decision.
Dying?
What?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is they dying?
Yeah.
No, it actually it's probably gonna be very close to that. If I need to have this face to face or quote unquote face to face with the husband before I figure out how I'm gonna go down my last path. If it's Pogentil's grandfather, I'm gonna shit. Or great grand, whatever.
Nah, just like two greats, I think, right?
Two greats.
Actually, 7th generation.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I have a question.
Bo Gentle had an
Yeah.
unusually long lifespan for
He
his
did.
race.
I saw that
and
he lived like 200 years or something like that for a
I
human.
think 204, 209, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah,
who says he's
so-
dead?
so-
Wait a sec. We're assuming he's dead.
Exactly.
That's what I'm
Exactly.
saying.
It's an assumption.
Well,
I think
the stories say he's dead. So yeah.
I have an assumption that he's not dead. One of two things. As soon as you said Nasana was by Althea, I thought one of two things. Either A, Osmeroth is real, but he's not. He's alive, and it is Bogentle's grandfather. But then I also thought, what if he's in like some type of celestial plane or some type of other plane where he doesn't have a physical body, and he needs one on the material plane, and that's why Nasana is collecting all this stuff, and now she needs a body.
Oh my god, if Althea
Would she
gets
choose
legendary
Althea,
action,
or would she just go kill someone?
I feel like she's
A
going
little
to
too
take somebody.
coincidental.
I think she's going to take somebody. If she would take somebody close to us, just to be an asshole. Preferably Warwick or Siddle, but
If she was
actually,
going to
maybe-
do that, exactly, she'd go Siddle.
But I think at where the battle's at right now, I think she might take what she can get if that would be the case. But
I
anyway,
think she feels like she's got this battle in hand still. She's laughing, skipping. Now, granted, last time she did cast 2 or 3 things. So far, she hasn't really like done anything other than just laugh at us, right? Like, there's still a threat there. I think she still thinks she's got this battle in hand.
we don't know what level she's at, and she could have some insta-death stuff that could just,
We know she has banishment, first of all. We know
Yeah,
she
that's
also
true.
has that gas cloud. What is that?
Cloud kill.
Cloud kill.
Cloud-
And she also has counterspell. Those are the 3 things that we can say for sure that she has.
and Dimension Door,
And Dimension Door. We found that out this time.
which is awesome. I love that. One of my favorite spells, hands down.
So she used. No, I mean, never mind. She's used a couple of things, but she's a high level caster, so she definitely has. I would not be surprised if she had access to 6th level spells, because you guys have access to 5th level. I would not be surprised, which gives her access to, if she has it, Disintegrate. That is a bad spell.
And Warwick's ready for it.
Dude,
Bring it.
no, that is an insta-death spell. Like, you get turned to 0 hit points with that, and you turn to ash.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be revived except by a wish spell.
Oh, by wish, or
Yeah.
true resurrection or something like
Oh
that.
yeah, you're right. True resurrection. Like, that's a nasty one.
I want Warwick to die in a very vulgar way if he does that.
She zaps off your pecker, and then the rest of you turns to ash, like something like that.
Now, I already explained to Garrett how I wanted to die if Warwick does that. Very, very nasty.
I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark.
Oh.
I kind of wanted him to die like, if you guys have seen the latest season of Stranger Things where they slowly like levitate in the air, and then their limbs just like, and then their legs do that, and then their head just, yeah.
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's graphic.
Hey, I don't know. Somebody's fucking with me. Somebody can resurrect me from wherever away, so maybe. We'll see.
What other questions do we have?
There's a couple in queue, but I think the main focus this time was back to the battle. I don't think we've had an echo chamber about a battle in a long time, so this was definitely nice to have. Strategically, as far as the battle, could we have done anything different? What do you guys think?
I mean, here's the thing: we're only three rounds in.
True.
We don't have the battle won. We don't have the battle won yet.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
no, for sure. I mean, it's potentially could go either way. I think I'm just more looking at so far in the start, and Evan said it, so I'm going to put this jinx on him. He said we're pretty much great execution. I think were your words.
I didn't say we were going to win. I just said so far we've executed things well, which is, I'm not jinxing, I'm just saying up to this point, I didn't say that we were going to win. I just said it's been positive so far. That's it. A lot of things can happen. She has 2 other mages, she's got other stuff, and
Yeah.
now that Frost Giant's running, the Bone Claw's about to run. We don't know what's happening with them yet, or if that's going to be thrown off. So things can turn super quick.
Would a fireball
Oh,
yeah.
catch that forest on fire?
Oh. I didn't ask how big the room is. I said fireball.
I mean, Althea's there,
Potentially.
so I'm not saying that we should do it. I'm just curious, you know.
I would say you could certainly try, and I'd give a roll for it. There's a lot of, we already said, dead grass on the dead leaves on the ground and brush. We clarified that, so there's certainly kindling. Also, we know that the field's a bit muddy, so there has been some rain outside of Silvery Moon recently. So the question is, how wet is everything? How quickly would it pick up? So there is the possibility that it would, yes.
Okay,
Which
just
in
curious.
itself is its own fog cloud, right? Holy shit. Do it. We're settled at. I'll tell them. Fireball the area.
And that's how Althea died.
Where's Althea at, guys? Have you seen her?
So speaking of Althea, I have a question, and I wish she were here. So she said that, hey, still licking my wounds from Nisana. We shouldn't do this. She's pretty, well, I don't want to say adamant about that, but she mentioned not do this. She's the one first insta-death. Not insta-capacitated at the moment, right off the gate. Do you think Ashley's mad?
There is a little irony there. I enjoy it.
Not that it was on purpose, but
I think she's a little mad at Nisana. She's frustrated in a good way. I talked to her a little bit afterwards by chat, and it drove up her hatred of Nisana a little bit more. Not mad at the group though by any means. And the question is, well, how will this influence her decisions in the future about entering some risky battles that she was naturally against, and about thinking she's safe hanging back.
yes,
It was only a matter of time before she got flanked.
Yeah.
that's
That
the
was-
bigger thing, I think.
She's gonna stick on one of you like glue at this point. She's just hovering in Griswold's shadow up through these battles now.
As long as she uses that bow, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I
Those
think
bow
she only
dags.
got 1 attack in so far, but
Yeah, she
a
did.
successful attack and decent amount of damage. What was it, like 20-something points, right?
22.
Yeah, solid hit.
It's a lot.
20 points. 20 points.
Yeah.
That
I mean,
comes
it's
back
not
to
Amrook,
bless.
but that's okay.
Yeah, dude, you literally in 2 rounds did or 1 round did 100 points of damage to a frost giant.
But
You
that's
said,
his nuke. That was it. That's all he's got.
That's
his
it,
his
yeah.
nuke's over. Yeah, I'm back to regular at this point. That's the difference. Like prolonged fights, like that's where your rogues and stuff are really going to shine.
Oh, for sure. It's still though.
94.
It was a
94
frost
points.
giant. It was still a frost giant
That's
that you
pretty
said I'm gonna take down.
What's a frost giant? That frost giant? About 130 something.
Give or take. I think 134 is the middle. So I think they're sitting between 120 and 140.
I just thought of something. No.
Uh-oh. What? Go ahead.
Nothing. No, nothing.
Eric, you can't do this to me, man.
That's the second time he's done it this session. I like it.
Yep.
It hurts my soul.
They are frost. They are frost giant zombies, correct?
They are.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Ah. I get what you're
Oh no. I know exactly what you're thinking. Good point.
saying. Actually, I got 2 things I'm thinking about.
That's an issue.
Yeah. Huh, interesting. How does Amrook feel, or why? I know why Amrook doesn't want to take charge, but how does Amrook feel with other people kind of calling battle strategies? He was the leader of an army, and he was a strategist. That's what, yeah. How does he feel?
he's pretty much told Grizz not going to happen, and he's probably thankful for someone else to take that on.
Griswold's going to keep pushing, no doubt. Because we all know Amrook is total BA. We know that.
I think it went well with Warwick chiming in there. I'll be honest. I think that will develop over time. I think it's a great way to go.
Will Amrook give advice if somebody else starts making those calls in battle?
Privately, maybe, but publicly, no. I mean, when Grizz called him out in public, he kind of joked about it and then was like, spread out and, focus fire. And that was his advice publicly.
Okay.
If someone calls a shot that Amrook thinks is completely wrong, will Amrook publicly take charge?
No, he'll follow it.
I like it. I fucking love it. I love it.
Fair.
I mean, think about so far, Grudhog as well as some other. There's been some stupid ass shit that we've done, and just all right, that's what you're calling. Let's do it.
You're not wrong. That's fair enough. All right.
How does Caldrum being newer to the group, how does he view that leadership?
Yeah.
I mean, he seems like a little bit of a follower. No offense to Caldrum. He's got power behind him, but he's not his father, and I think that's probably on purpose. But how does he view the party's leadership, and who would he think should or would take charge?
I think he's more of in line that definitely notice that there isn't really a leader per se. There's a lot of personalities, I guess you can say. And he's okay with that. He doesn't. He's fine with that. It brings a lot of views, and he's very open-minded. So, yeah.
I go back to a saying from other games. It's better that 6 of us are doing the wrong thing than 1 doing the right thing and 5 doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, I agree.
On that note, I think it's 1 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and call this just in case anybody has any meetings. But thank you all for watching, and we'll see you on Sunday.
Woohoo!